Hello everyone, welcome. This is the Crooked Creek Prospector, and in this video we're going to take a closer look at gold and material that we're getting out of the creek. We've acquired a few specialized tools to help us do this, and I'm excited because I really like using these tools now to really get an idea of the material and size, shape that they're coming out of the creek that you're trying to fight against to pull the gold out of. And also at the end I have a special treat to show you what we consider a gold nugget for Illinois. My father pulled that out several weeks ago, and it is something we've never seen before in the creek. So I'm excited to show you. So stick around, this will be good. Welcome back. This is Will, the Crooked Creek Prospector, and we are going to go over some of the tools that I've recently acquired to aid us in getting a closer personal look at the gold and material we've been getting out of the creek, especially that gold nugget. Can't wait. So, as most maybe not all, but most prospectors start off with, you got a little jeweler's loop. This is a Minelab XP loop that came with a panning kit. I do have another jeweler's loop somewhere. I couldn't find it, but those are great pieces of tech. This is a three times and 6 times. You can even get the jeweler's loops up to like 30x, and that I think is a great magnification. But the jeweler's loops I use quite a bit. This, I didn't really specifically get it for gold, but I've had it for reading and inspecting electronics and other things. This has a little light and a fairly big viewing area for the magnification. The older I get with bifocals and visual impairments, I find a larger viewing surface or viewing area really helps me out a lot. But I've used this quite a bit. That is portable. You can take it to the field. And when my father had found this gold nugget several weeks ago, gold nugget, and it sparked my interest to take a closer look. I used my phone and I used some different techniques to try to get the best, closest image possible, but it just wasn't doing it for me. So what do? You hop on Amazon and start looking. And I ended up finding I think this is like 20 bucks, Carson, just a real cheap microscope. These are meant for field work. You could use them on plant life, look at plants and bugs and whatever else you want to look at. But this is a 60 to 120 times magnification little scope. Has a little light on it, and I do like the frequency of the light on this, with gold at least. It really makes it shine quite bright. And it has a little plastic clip piece that you push on the top of the eyelet where you would look into the viewing area, and you can clip it to your phone's camera and take video, pictures, whatever you want. This has been, it's cheap and it works. But again, I kind of touched on this small viewing area. And with your phone, if you take phones and pictures, then you could take a picture or video and you could zoom in quite a bit, and it's a bigger viewing area. But this is kind of handy to look at, and you could really see a lot of detail, but it's kind of fickle, kind of, you got to work with it a little bit to get it to work right, but it does pretty good for 20 bucks. And we will show you a little bit of footage from this. But after using this a little bit, I decided we need something better. And I see a lot of people using those Tom Love microscopes. And I think that would be the cat's meow. And I agree now. I ended up getting one. I ended up with the DM10. It goes up to like 1200 magnification. And I'm in love with it. I think it's great for the money. I think I paid around $100 for it. But for that kind of money, for what it does, it gives a large viewing area. It lets you record video and take pictures onto a micro SD card. You can hook a cable up to your laptop, download the data, pictures, video onto your laptop. You can even hook that cable up to your laptop and then display the whole thing on the big screen. So if 10.1 inches of screen isn't enough, you could have it on a bigger screen. And you could really see a lot of good detail. The lighting, I've noticed when I get real close, is not as good as this, at least in my opinion. I think the frequency of the light could be a little bit better, but I'm looking at this gearing towards gold. This microscope is great overall. I mean, the light's great. I think I would have preferred a different frequency of light, but I don't know what that is. And I'm going to do a little bit more research on that. Maybe I could add some extra additional lighting to help the gold shine a little bit better. But in the end, though, I was able to get it to work very well. That's probably my very minute complaint about it. I also like it has a battery on it, so you can charge it, take it to the field, and actually use it in the field if you wanted. I probably wouldn't do that. I would be in fear of it breaking, but you could do it. So that is the equipment we're going to go over, and we're going to use to view the gold and material we're getting out of the creek and the big nugget. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are going to use one of my favorite coins in the world for reference, a bicentennial quarter. Don't know why I love them so much, but I do. So this is about the size of the gold that I got the first few trips. As you can probably see, there's one right there. Let's see, there's two right there. And there's a few more around here somewhere. However, I think I'm going to focus in on a couple of these. So first of all, we'll focus in on this big boy right here. Matter of fact, I might have to move the quarter over. And we're going to zoom in as close as we can, which means I'm going to move that Tom Love to where it is basically touching my little dish. See if we can get this gold to zoom in. Oh yeah, that is Illinois gold. Now, let's zoom out. See if we can find those, what I'll refer to as the twins. I think they were up north right there. That's very nice. Oh, very nice. Let's zoom down on them. And then focus. There you two are. Very nice. Boy, it sure doesn't look like much in a pan, but you get the old Tomlov on duty. These look awful pretty. All right, let's see if we can find another one. There's another bigger chunk. Let's see if we can find him. See, that's the one I looked at already. Oh, I believe, there we go. That is one of them right there, I believe. Oh yeah. That is very nice. Got a little crystal quartz thing there, and all the little hematite, magnetite, whatever those little black sands are, they are quite black. So that's all the gold I have to show. Let's see what the black sands look like then. Let me switch this out and be back in a bit. Okay, so this is a pretty high level view of the black sands that were in the mine lab that I panned the gold out of. This is just a small sample, but there it is on the screen. Now I'm going to just do the voiceover and take you to the Tomlov video. So let's zoom in on this stuff, and I think I'm either seeing a bunch of white quartz or a bunch of gold I didn't pull out. I don't know if you're seeing all that, but wowzers. It almost, now I don't know for sure, but it almost looks like there's little speckles of gold, but it could be quartz, it could be, who knows? That might not be gold, but there's a lot of gold colored rocks in this world, for sure. But let's get a little bit closer. Wow, look at all those little pebbles, and if I didn't know any better, I swear a couple of those pieces were gold. Let's get a little closer look, shall we? Wow. Lots of little rocks. All very well rounded. Looks like there's, I don't know what all that is. Little chunks of this and that. But that is the fight. Oh, that's an interesting little red something. All this really makes me interested in kind of learning a bit more. I wonder if I'll take the light down, see if that helps the picture out any. But all of these different color rocks, some of them clear, a lot of black. Boy, oh boy, it looks like little diamonds and boulders, but that's pretty interesting. I find this fascinating to know what the gold is fighting against. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Wow. Lots of little clear crystals or rock. I mean, quartz, or it's a crick that does have glass in it. Some of that could be just ground up glass. There's a little teal colored one. That's kind of interesting. I could spend all day just kind of looking through all these rocks, just wondering where they came from and how they were made. But pretty interesting.
So these next few pieces of gold, ever so small, came from my video Gold Pan Showdown, where I was just demonstrating the different pans I have and what I prefer and like to use in the crick. I wanted to demonstrate how small the piece was with your naked eye, and here you can see that I've magnified that quite a bit. I'm using the Carson Microbright Pro 60 to 120 LED lighted pocket microscope. This does have a little smartphone clip that clips onto the top of the viewing piece and then or attaches to it. Then you can take your phone camera and clip into that over your camera's lens and take pictures and video. It is a bit cumbersome when you do that. It's a little bit awkward. Your phone's kind of heavy off to one side, so you got to kind of do your best to hold it still. But for 20 bucks, I think you can't hardly go wrong if you want to really look close at items. Here, you could also, I'm zooming in a little bit with my phone. As I zoom in, that circle, the viewport, will start to go away. But really, I thought that the phone and this microscope worked well together. Now, this next piece, still probably can't really see it in this picture, but in the microscope, I was quite surprised at the shape, and it almost looked like there's a fresh break recently. The bottom left, it looked like it had broken and hasn't really worn through the rocks or moved very far since it broke, because it kind of looked sort of fresh. It wasn't rounded over, to me at least. So I thought that was very interesting. Um, I will say this, I'm not trying to sell this microscope. I'm not affiliated with Carson at all. I'm just showing you what I have and what I was using. This is a model MM350 that I'm using. Has a light, but I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just showing you what I was using to try to get a little closer view of the gold. And by now, my father had already found that gold nugget. So I was trying to find a way that I could really zoom in on that gold nugget. And this microscope did work well on that as well. I have the gold nugget coming up next. These are the best pictures I could take with my phone with no additional magnification. This picture is of me trying to use my phone zooming in through a magnifier with a light that you typically would use in like books or small reading if you can't see some small print. Now we're back to using that Carson handheld microscope at 60 power. I was very blown away when I was able to see that kind of detail, and I'm still not sure what the red rock is. I assume it's some kind of host rock, but I don't know if it's some kind of rust or uh, garnet. I have zero clue, but I've found it very interesting. Now up next we have the Tom Love looking at this gold nugget. The lighting on this Tom Love I thought was good, but I found I almost like the lighting on the Carson a little bit better. But this, looking at it from a video perspective and not just a screen, looks pretty good. I was playing with the light a little bit, um, just trying different light sources, adjusting the light. You can adjust the light on the lens or the mic. The lens itself, and then there's also two side lights that you can add light. And I was even trying some like a flashlight as well to try to add just a different form of light. But in this video and then in the next, this is video straight from the Tom Love. It really shows you a lot of the extra whatever rock or whatever's in the gold or mixed in with it. I'm assuming some kind of host rock, but I truly don't know. And I'm not sure how to test it. And this we've never seen before. At least I guess we've never looked at our gold this close before. So if we've had gold like this before, we've never known it. Um, but to me, it looks like some kind of rusty, garnety thing that's in with the gold. But it's pretty interesting. And I think that Tom Love did a great job.
Well, I was very excited to share with you the gold nugget specimen that my father had found in the creek. That is something we've never seen before, and I am just going nuts in my mind trying to figure out where that would have come from. We've never seen any rock before like that with what appears to be like a host rock or something attached to it. That makes me think it must have come must have not traveled very far down the creek to get to that spot, I would assume. Now, I could be wrong because I assume if it was rolling through the creek from a distance, it would tumble and mash in between rocks as it's washing down the creek, and it probably wouldn't have held on to that host rock. But maybe maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong with about that. But my imagination runs that it was deposited by the glacier somewhere in the creek bed or in the side of the creek as the creek is washing out, and it must have washed out a new deposit somewhere. And I keep looking for a little bit more, a little trace, a little trail, maybe back to that little pocket on the side of the creek. It's a mystery, and that's what turns it into an adventure. Gold prospecting often opens up more questions than answers, but that's kind of the joy of it. You get to figure some things out and have fun doing it. So using the Tom Love and the other devices was great to really take a close and up close and personal look at the material and try to discover some more answers from those questions and also take a look at what material we're fighting to get that gold out. So I hope you really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed sharing with you what my father has discovered and some of the gold that I was pulling out. And I think we'll take a look at some of the gold we've already pulled out over the past several years to see if maybe we could find some more gold that we've already gotten with some of that rock on it. I'm not sure, but it will be checked out, because we do have the technology with the Tom Love and that other little handheld microscope. We can play with it. And so thanks for tuning in and watching. Appreciate it. And I really look forward to sharing with you more adventures on my next video. So we'll see you on the next one. Take care.